And on this momentous Sunday in this historic week, let's just take a moment and marvel at just how utterly divorced from reality the bulk of the media is and has been over the past decade, and how loathed and distrusted they are by the majority of the American public. The media has been fully complicit, indeed enthusiastic participants in pushing every lie, every manufactured outrage, every hoax about Donald Trump. And you can be sure they'll be at it again during his second term. We've had years of verifiable lies being debunked, from the fine people hoax to the drinking bleach nonsense to the bloodbath lie to the Russian collusion conspiracies, and yet they keep repeating these lies without correction, without fact checks. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Barack Obama are among those who repeated the fine people hoax during the election campaign. They keep calling the most pro-Israel president we have seen, a man who has a Jewish daughter and Jewish grandchildren, a Nazi. And in the final days of the campaign, they came up with another outrageous lie, that Donald Trump had threatened to shoot war hawk Liz Cheney. But the left and their media propagandists have cried wolf one too many times. Polls show that trust in the media is at historic lows. All that fake news has caught up with the fourth estate. Only Democrats have any trust in the media, with 54% saying they have a great deal or fair amount of trust in the media, according to the latest Gallup poll released last month. Only 1 in 10 Republicans and 27% of independents have a great deal or fair amount of trust in the media. And it's that last figure that helped deliver a famous victory for Donald Trump. The independent voters the Democrats were counting on are not buying the fake news about Donald Trump, not anymore. The game has changed. If you were watching this program or my show, you'd know that. We've talked about it for years, but for many Australians and folks around the world used to consuming leftist media output on domestic US politics, well, they were in for a shock this week. If you're used to god-awful, simplistic regurgitation of CNN and MSNBC talking points that we get on the ABC, that we get on all the other free-to-air networks, including the commercials, 9, 10, 7, well, you'd be shocked and probably bewildered about this election result. For in the end, it was a landslide. President-elect Donald Trump delivered a rare red wave, winning the presidency, the Senate, the popular vote, and he is likely to deliver the House as well for the Republicans. His mandate is undeniable. Trump won every single swing state. The pollsters and media pundits will continue to get it wrong because they exist in an echo chamber that appears incapable of understanding the Trump phenomenon. You see, Americans decided they cared more about economic prosperity, border security and world peace than unfettered access to late-term abortion and tampons in boys' bathrooms. Americans prioritised their families' interest over the Democrats' endless culture wars and reckless policies, from soft-on-crime legislation to the open border madness that has seen more than 10 million people cross the southern border illegally under the Biden-Harris administration. Americans decided to go back to Trump and to unburden themselves from what could have been under the Harris-Walz administration. The media told us abortion was the key issue and that women would deliver Harris a overwhelming victory. But in the end, more women voted for Trump than men voted for Harris. Indeed, the majority of all married men, unmarried men and married women backed Trump, while the majority of unmarried women backed Harris, according to NBC exit polls. Trump had the backing of real women's rights campaigners, from Ayaan Hirsi Ali to Kelly J. Keane to Megyn Kelly, who gave Trump a powerful endorsement in the final hours before the election. Kamala had the backing of woke celebrities who can't even tell you what a woman is. Far from having a women problem, Trump had merely an unmarried women problem, or as J.D. Vance famously called them, a childless cat lady problem. As one pundit sagely put it before the election, the Democrats have become the party of miserable women and weak men. Ultimately, it didn't matter how many celebrities like Taylor Swift identified as childless cat ladies to endorse Kamala. Indeed, one can argue the celebrity endorsements did more harm than good. Sure, Kamala Harris effectively used the likes of Beyonce, Eminem and Bruce Springsteen to get crowds who expected a free concert to her rallies, but the deranged ramblings of celebrities like Robert De Niro, Cardi B and Oprah Winfrey proved completely ineffective in boosting the Democrats' vote. When you're struggling to afford your mortgage payments or put food on the table, the last thing you care about is what Jennifer Lopez has to say about democracy. The second Trump term cannot come soon enough. He has assembled a formidable team with broad appeal. He's got a literal genius in his team, Elon Musk. He's got former Democrats like Tulsi Gabbard. He's got Robert F. Kennedy Jr., there's Vivek Ramaswamy and J.D. Vance. The future is bright for the Republicans and for America. But Trump's triumph has seen the left emoting wildly, which, to be honest, is enormously entertaining. And it's quite clear that there is Australians losing their minds over this famous victory. And sadly, almost all of them are low information fools who've swallowed the nonsense the media has fed them. When you ask them why they hate Donald Trump, it becomes apparent very quickly that they are clueless. And talking about clueless, let's take a second to marvel at just how uniquely awful the Kamala Harris and Tim Walz team were. Radical left ideology with terrible records in their respective states. Kamala is inept, unlikable, inauthentic. Walz is just a weirdo. And trust me when I say, if they didn't outspend Trump 3-1, they would have lost California and New York. Today, Tim Walz shared this message of unity and common understanding.
Swallow a little bit of pride and look a little harder to find common ground with our neighbors who didn't vote like we did in this election. Maybe we won't agree on every issue. Hell, maybe we won't agree on any issue. But maybe when the campaign signs come down, we all get a little break from the rhetoric and the TV ads and the fundraising texts, and I'm sorry about those. Maybe when we get a little break from this campaign that we're in, we'll be able to look at each other and see not enemies but neighbors.
How about no? No. The Democrats tried to put their leading political opponent in jail. They called half the country Nazis and fascists. They characterised parents at school board meetings worried about their kids being indoctrinated as domestic terrorists. They put Pete Navarro and Steve Bannon in prison. They accused Trump's children of treason. So you can screw your calls for unity. The majority of Americans voted for a reckoning. Trump risked everything to run again. They came for his family. They came for his allies. They used lawfare to try to bankrupt him, to try to imprison him on sham charges. He was called a threat to democracy. He was called a fascist, a modern-day Hitler, a wannabe dictator, and he withstood it all to win and win big. And as a bonus, he gave us this. When reality hits the left, it hits hard.
Fragile little snowflake. What a blowhard. He's a blowhard and a snowflake. He's a blowflake is what he is. He should change the hats to say, "Make America Wine Again." It's more than half of this country voted for the criminal, still trying to figure out what happened.
It's the day before the election, and I just want to come out here and remind everyone
I've lost all hope in the American people.
that no matter who you voted for, no matter the outcome,
I can't do this anymore.
the election results are not an excuse to be violent,
If you didn't vote, unfollow me and block me.
even if the results are not what you wanted. Stay calm.
What is wrong with you? What has happened to freedom? I'm done.
And worry about something different.
I'm literally sick. I'm literally sick to my stomach.
I don't think that our beloved country, America, knows what it's in for with a fascistic society and dictator. I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm not being dramatic.
And got my lipstick on today, so I'm a little bit more together. We're putting a plan together. I cannot live in a country that voted for Trump. I cannot spend another 4 years under that man. And so we have made the decision that we are leaving. We're putting a plan together. Our plan is to go back to Australia.